Hello, everybody. It is Friday, which means obviously it is time for our WildStar show here on MMOBuff called Cosmotronic. And as you can tell, I'm kind of short a few people, but I've gained somebody new. That's right, it is me, Pseudo. I am joined by the very gorgeous and lovely Elloa, who is someone who I've known for quite a while now. Hopefully, I'll know for an awful lot longer. She is amazing. She is gifted. She is also known, like I am known as Lobzilla. She is known as the Rantosaurus.
Hello everyone. Now I'm all blushing with all those compliments. What an intro.
But see, it works out
Still
well. Unfortunately, what has occurred is this. The truth is, Gazimov, unfortunately, is busy and he is away somewhere. Mizpa is also dealing with a street fair going on in outside, literally outside his windows. So if you even turn on a mic, all you hear is this loud humming and then drums and everything else from the generator that they've got going on. And poor Kai, unfortunately, is not with us because she's not feeling well. But that's not how we do it here on Cosmotronic. What we do instead is we make up scenarios that involve WildStar as to what could possibly have happened to them. So Gazimov is a Chua. So I still like the concept of him being held by lop scientists and experimented on. So that's where he is. What do you think happened to Mizpa? What can we come up from Mizpa?
It's a Granok, of course. And he's scoffed into his crazy parties. They are all super drunk and putting some good music. I love Granok music.
Oh, there you go. So Mizpa is apparently at a Granok party, not caring that much about us. Now, for the lovely Kai, I kind of want to just say the strain hit her. Unfortunately, she is subject to the strain, and we're hoping that we'll be able to find a cure.
It's true. I saw a video of her with these things going out of her belly.
Yes, I saw that. And we're just going to hope that she gets better soon. Get well soon is what we're hoping for. The other two, yeah, we're not so worried about that. They'll be back at some point.
Well, they're enjoying themselves, huh?
Absolutely. Yes, we do hope Kai feels better soon, but that's okay because we have an insane amount of stuff to cover with you guys today. Because what happens here at Cosmotronic is we don't just talk about the news. We also dig into random tidbits of information and niftiness and stuff. So let's start off with the most obvious. We've got some crazy news coming out from WildStar. I'm going to drop the hat on something. We will go into it, but yes, a new dungeon has been announced, including a veteran mode dungeon. We'll get to that in a second. There's also some really interesting stuff coming up for people who are AMD users for your video cards. There is an interesting thing for people who are still going, why won't my amp drop? Which is going to be a fun thing to reveal. And then, of course, a little bit later in the show, we're going to dig into something that Elloa did that honestly makes sense. And I'm going to enjoy basically quizzing her about it and having her reveal all. So, are you guys ready to get Cosmotronic?
Okay.
Right, so before I go too far, tell people a little bit about yourself and where you're from, what you do, all that good stuff that goes with it, because you are the Rantosaurus, but you know.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm Elloa. I'm a MMO fan. It's my favorite genre of game. I'm from Belgium, so just explain my accent and my weird way of speaking English. I'm French speaker, so I have a French sort of accent, but not from France. All the subtlety of it. So I'm making video, Rantosaurus video, where I rant during 3 minutes about the subject, and I'm playing ESO and WildStar. I love them both for different reasons, and so I'm doing content for them both.
Voila. And there you go. There you have it. Now, I don't speak French at all, so we're going to speak in English because I fail at other languages, as I am known as the butcher of languages.
I prefer English for web stuff anyway.
Fair enough. Right, so we're going to go through some of the news bits, and I'm going to give some links to people for people who are interested in these things as well. For those of you who unfortunately could not catch us live and are catching us on YouTube, the links will be below you. And for those of you who are on our website looking at it, the links are going to, pardon me, be below as well. Apparently, iced tea makes me burp. Oh, good God. I am
it's fine.
So
I
civil.
didn't hear anything.
Wow. Well, pardon me. Oh, I didn't mean to be rude. Okay, so let's start off with one of the really interesting things For those of you who are big fans of WildStar, because of the fact that they have promised us content drops on a consistent schedule, not just waiting for the next expansion to reveal things or what have you, for those of you who are interested in the PTR, it is up and it is currently reviewing Ultra Drop number 2, which is known as Sabotage.
Yep.
Now,
That,
go ahead.
that smells Shua stuff.
Chua. You gotta love the Chua. Not really. We just want the Chua to die. Die, Chua! No, really. No, I'm just joking. But yes, the content, or the PTR is up. It is currently reviewing Sabotage, and there is quite a few things about Sabotage that, I'm just gonna have to just skip over all that other stuff. And I'll say, if you're interested in getting into the actual Sabotage PTR, I highly recommend it. Apparently, Gaz has been at the Games Development Conference in Cardiff all day learning how to make games in Unity. I don't agree with that. I think he's been held captive by Lops, and they're performing scientific experiments on him. But hello, Gazimov. It is brilliant to see you. Even though I'm pretty certain he's still being held captive by the Lops, because he has been for like 3 weeks. Oh. But yes. So yes, if you are interested in getting involved in the PTR to check out Sabotage, I highly recommend it. And Gazimov, I do have some news for you involving the data mine. So I will speak with you about that later. But since you're here, passing on messages. Now, the next interesting thing about this, one of the best quotes from Stephen Frost I have ever heard, besides his amazing quote that he did on Cosmotronic when we did a live show from a bar. That was a nightmare. But one of my favorite quotes from him was someone asking him in a tweet, "Can you please make the dungeons easier?" And he's like, no. So there have been some complaints from people in WildStar who have actually said, this is a little too hard for these dungeons that you guys are starting us out at level 20. For those of you who don't know, that's things like Storm Talon's Lair. There's another one.
Of course, there are. People are used to the easiness of World of Warcraft dungeon that has been dumped more and more and more. And now it's just a face rolling affair where you can just relax and cast your spells randomly. In WildStar, it's not the case at all. So you have to be on your toes immediately in the first dungeon. It's not just, I like to call them 5-man raids, because it is this kind of difficulty when you compare it to World of Warcraft. You need to know the tactic, you need to perform your role correctly, you need to move in the same times, and you need to coordinate with your teammates. You cannot just, 5 random guys, let's go trash things. And so, yeah, for a lot of people, they need to adjust to this new kind of difficulty that we may have known back in the days in 2005 when you did your first Dead Mine dungeon run. That was a bit like that, but that was so long ago, we forgot about it. So, yeah.
Now, here is the fun thing. There have been, like I have said, several people who have been all, oh my goodness, this is like, so hard, fix this. And they did not bow to this at all. Instead, they've done something different. They said, oh, you need help learning and transitioning from your old MMOs to an MMO that actually requires hardcore skills? Hardcore. Sorry, it's Stephen Frost, and I saw Gazimov's comment, it's hardcore. We're going to do something instead. Currently on the PTR, only in veteran mode, although there will be a level 10 version, a new dungeon is coming. This new dungeon, it is a level 10 dungeon. It is known as the Ultimate Proto Games. And what is interesting about this dungeon is that when it gets released, and it's going to take a little bit of time, it's not necessarily going to come with the Ultra Drop 2 Sabotage. This is going to take some time to test. But when it comes out, what they're going to do is change the attunement process so that it says get 4 silvers, medals, and any dungeon. So there's another dungeon coming to teach people how to dungeon in WildStar. Instead of bowing and making the dungeons easier, they're trying to bring tools to help teach people how to play.
Yeah, so that's exactly the right solution to do it. Instead of nerfing all content and pull back the players, you can take them up or take them back, and other games are doing that. They adapt to the lower players, and here, no, we will help you we will hold your hand a little bit so you get better. And that's really good because the player will gain more confidence, they will stop to whine, they will learn, they have many possibilities to play with their guildmate and such like that. So it's exactly the right attitude. And I like Carbine because they always find the right solution for the problems, which the other game are not doing. And so I really love them for that.
Absolutely. And like I said, this does add yet another dungeon that you can go forth and try to get your attunement through, because there is a veteran mode for this as well. So let's say you're having problems jumping and surviving in Sanctuary of the Sword Maiden.
I don't know who you're talking about.
I understand.
Wonder who.
See, that's the thing. The Sanctuary of the Sword Maiden has, you can be, bang on with all of the fights and get them done quickly. But if you screw up in the jump puzzle that they've got there, you've basically screwed yourself over. I think there's a reason that one takes like 75 minutes to get a silver. But yes.
Yes, that's the moment where I say, why you put a stupid jumping puzzle in a dungeon? Why?
Because you're going to need to know that stuff for raids. This is all prep for raids.
Seriously. That's what I'm so afraid that I will put jumping into the raid. Then I'm out.
Well, apparently Ramaj says that you're a professional jumper.
Yeah, and jumper in the emptiness, not on the stone that you need to jump on.
And Merwin has asked if you're French. No, Elloa is Belgian, just a French-speaking Belgian, hence why her English has a bit of a French connotation or flair to it. So,
yep.
Any other fun things that I want to point out about this new dungeon? It's going to be, as they say, they quote, really hard with the terrible play or gear that people are gifted on the PTR. It's a veteran-only version in the PTR. The 10 will come out when they bring it out later, which is good. And apparently you get a score for all the objectives, including bouncing on Q-pigs.
Oh, God.
Killing craters. Breaking open crates. Love crates.
That's something that could be fun, to put some challenge begin in the dungeon itself.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's kind of what the optionals are in the dungeons. When you walk in, you get your different optional quests. Those are sort of challenges to see if you can make it. But I now need you to make a video of you bouncing on Q-pigs when this finally comes out, because I want to see just how proficient you are at jumping. That's what I would like to see.
Right. Yes, with my face getting more and more angry.
Well, hopefully you always have a smile. So yes, we do have a new dungeon that is going to be coming out. It is still being tested. Just be aware that this is a level 10 dungeon designed to teach people. And since it's named as the Ultimate Proto Games, I expect ProtoStar to be heavily involved in this.
Oh yeah, that would be cool. A ProtoStar. Oh yeah.
Well, I don't know if
I
don't know if you've gotten the enhancement for your housing plots yet, the ProtoStar Trainer.
No, I'm really nature. I'm a real arena like garden stuff, so I only put garden things on my plots.
Okay, well, I've added the ProtoStar training facility, and it teaches you how to dodge, jump, etc. Because the goal is to successfully stay alive for 3 minutes while it's throwing all kinds of stuff at you, telegraph-wise, and not get hit more than 6 times.
Oh, nice.
I will tell you, I have seen people.
Dungeons.
I've seen people go, "Oh, this is easy. I can do this," and they have not succeeded. So it's an interesting thing, but I like the fact that they're bringing this stuff in. But yes, it makes me think that we're definitely going to be seeing something from ProtoStar, which is awesome. Right. So more news. Oh gosh, there's so much news going on right now. Yes, people know and are aware that the bot bans are continuing. They are still working on that. And yes, they are still an annoyance, but please remember, folks, if you guys have not put an authenticator on your account, do so. I've spoken with somebody on my server this past week who went, my account got hacked. My guild's bank got completely demolished and everything. And I went, did you have an authenticator? And they said, I turned it off.
Oh.
And I'm like, well, all I can say now is look at you and go, whose fault was that? Put authenticators on your accounts, people. It doesn't take long. Just do it. Seriously. Besides the bonuses you get, it will save you pain in the long run, because in the end, it is not NCSoft's job to watch your account 100% of the time. And this is nothing. This authenticators are nothing. Just do it.
Even I did it, and I hated this kind of stuff, but in the end I get myself convinced, and I got it, and it's not so boring, so it's really easy.
It is
Just
easy.
need to have your phone.
And it definitely looks like I'm looking to have sometime by next week a little the start of my security series hitting YouTube for those of you who are interested, where I'm going to be talking about password managers for gamers, and I am going to be talking about the importance of things. See, that's one of them. Mine, I don't even need on my phone. Mine works in a browser, runs on my desktop. It syncs with my phone and my iPad and everything else, but it's brilliant. So even if my phone is dead, which can happen, and you go to log in and you're like, now I need to charge my phone, I don't even need to do that because it all syncs together.
That was the reason why I didn't want the authenticator first, but now it's working, so I'm fine. But I was afraid that because I always lose my phone, and it's always
I'll
somewhere.
tell you what. When I finish my first pass-through, which I'm going to do on Authy, I will teach you and show you the link, and you can tell me if you like that better than just using, say, your phone. Because I have Authy running across all of my devices.
So there's really no excuse to not have an authenticator.
Exactly. No excuse at all, unless you really want to be the one who is the weak link. Goodbye. I don't know why I decided to throw that in there. That really is like not fun in any way. But yes, so we are lucky to see these bot bans continuing. I love the fact that they are trying. It's not an easy thing to check for. You can either be too strict and completely ban the wrong players, aka people who weren't doing anything wrong except playing a lot, or you could be too lenient and miss bots. And I like the fact that they're slowly narrowing the gap of to where which side is which. So hopefully we'll be past the days of when that occurs. Also, if you are AFKing in PvP, why? Even Gaffney says he doesn't understand why people try to do that. Don't do that. Get actively involved.
Oh yeah, I know a lot of people that were doing that in World of Warcraft, just so they could farm their honor point where they were gone working or something. That's not fair to do that. It's really not fair play at all. It's not nice for the other guys that want to play the game. So.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's see. We also have some other amazing things. Oh, yes. I paused just to read the chat for a second. All right, so how happy are you with the WildStar community right now, Elloa?
Well, first, my guild is awesome. I love them. They are wonderful. They're so cool. They make the game so fun.
I can say the same thing.
It really depends. I will say that generally the people are nice, but something I don't really like is when you pack adventure, then people start to get not mean or not impolite, but they are merciless, unforgivable. If you don't have gold, they abandon the group. And I don't really like that kind of attitude. I understand that it's to become more efficient. I know that Carbine will solve this issue, but at the moment it's a bit unpleasant. You do the run, even if you want to have fun with 1 or 2 pug, because generally I have a group of at least 3% that I know. And then, I know it's not gold, then we disband. And I say, well, come on, let's at least, the reward is worthless. No, it's fun to, just for the honor, I don't know. Let's finish it.
Now,
so yeah, that's the only thing I don't like.
That's something I have heard, and I am happy to say I haven't had to notice it. But yes, the WildStar community is still pretty strong, in my opinion. It's still very supportive. There are some who see a opinion of if you're not in a particular type of gear or if you're not a particular class, they don't want you in their dungeon runs, which I don't think is right at all. But if you're going to pug, you know, you're going to make the choices that you think are most beneficial to you. My hope is that you're just not one of those horde puggers who decides to be vitriolic towards the community. However, something has happened, and I want to start informing people who have guilds in WildStar of some steps that they may need to take. So, I have a guild. You are in a guild, yes?
Yep.
Have you made a circle with your guild name yet?
Not with my guild, no.
Okay,
I'm
do
part
it.
of a circle, but not my guild.
Do it.
Okay.
The reason why, and I'm going to stress this, is we have unfortunately had some people running around on our server trying to extort money from the guild that I'm in by using a circle with our name. Now, Carbine does not distinguish in titles and color whether something is a circle or a guild. So they're running around doing really horrible things and trying to extort us for money to get them to stop using it. So if you are running a guild in WildStar, and I've mentioned this, so this is going up the chain. I mean, Onlith is aware of it. It's been pushed up the chain to support. I'm curious to see what's going to happen. But because of that, make certain you have a circle with your guild name so that you prevent it. I'm lucky enough to have quite a few guild leaders on Ika, which is the server that my guild is on, currently in a coalition in a circle, and I've let them know, so they've all done the same thing to protect themselves as well. We shouldn't have to go this far, but the fact that it's occurring, we can take care of it and do that.
No, but it's a good tip, and even if it's not for someone that want to harm you, but they just want to be called the same things, I want to keep my name for myself.
Well, see, that's just the thing.
Only for that.
That's the thing. I mean, if you have people running around stealing boxes or running around calling people names or doing things that reflect poorly on your name, you're going to want to do something about it. And believe me, I am doing something about it. Something is being done. And if someone is watching who is trying to extort us, that's not a smart thing to do. But anyway, I just had to throw that out there. If you are running a guild, please make certain you make a circle with your guild name. If nothing else, just so that nobody else can do what someone is trying to do to us. Because it's a pain in the butt. It really is. Every time we turn around, more and more people seem to be joining that circle. It's a shame.
Oh. Yeah, well, at least you know what kind of people they are.
Absolutely. Generally speaking, everyone else I've run into has been an absolute treat. So the community is still good. Unfortunately, we still have those, I guess the word is trolls. They're everywhere.
It's in every game.
It is. Now, another reason to have authenticators?
Yes, the mount.
Yes, a new mount. There is a mount coming for people who have two-factor authentication. Seriously, folks, there really is no reason for you in any way, shape, or form to not have authentication. There isn't. So just know there is a new mount, and it is badass looking. It is seriously badass.
I really like the way they reward people, they encourage people to do the right things. They understand that the carrot is what leads people, so instead of having the stick. So it's really nice to offer something just because you use the authenticator.
So use the authenticator, get an awesome mount. I am not seeing any problem with this. Use an authenticator and get XP bonuses. I'm not seeing a problem with this. I'm seriously. No. Use an authenticator, people. It'll save you. Apparently, I need a cape to fight injustice and name stealers. Thank you, Invina. I shall be known as Super Lopzilla. Super Lops. I'm crazy. And Gazimoff has also thrown in an awesome post as well. By the way, if you have not had a chance to read some of the things that Gazimoff writes, Gazimoff is usually on with us, but he has been a busy bumblebee and was unable to join us on Cosmotronic today. But he writes amazing pieces about WildStar, and click his links, because for reals, it's really important. As to whether the mount is customizable, I have seen it in multiple colors, so I'm going to assume you can kind of do something with it, but I'm not certain, so I can't be sure.
No, but I guess it is. But Avid Guru is saying it is.
I will trust Avid Guru's thoughts on that, because Avid Guru is a guru who is very avid. So we'll throw that one in there. Okay, now here is something for you folks who are running AMD video cards. There has been quite a bit of frustration with the quality and the frame rate issues from AMD for WildStar. AMD has just put out a update for their cards that actually includes some help for WildStar. So if you are running an AMD video card and you are having frame rate issues or lack of performance quality, the next update might be good enough. Might be. I say might be because even though they put it out, it's still not 100%. Now, there is a reason for this, and it's something that will be gone into in a different show at another time. So I can't go too far into anything on things right now, but just be aware that that is going on. I do apologize, Capsark. I'm EU, so I do not have a guest pass I can pass to you, sadly.
No,
Perhaps
me neither.
some of the
Sorry.
others who are watching who are actually US will be happy to share that information, or at least share a guest pass, because it's so much fun. Getting people into the game is awesome. So,
Yeah.
AMD support. See, you didn't have to go into details about that one. You're sorted, Elloa.
Yes, because the technique part is not my strength, like the jumping.
Ah, the jumping puzzles.
Yeah.
Right. So, are you still hunting down all of your amps?
I honestly don't pay attention so much to that. I'm just,
Ooh.
I've received a lot of them. A lot of people have offered me some amps, so I've put them and said that's it. I'm not a farmer. I'm not someone that enjoy to farm. So when I find something, I'm happy about it. I'm not like, it's like a bonus. It's not like I need to have it. Absolutely, I will work my ass off 24 hours and 20 until I got it. It's not really my attitude. So of course, if I had to read tomorrow, I will do differently, but it's not the case, so it's not a big deal.
Well, see, that's fair enough. Whereas for me, I really want to get my hands on things like trigger fingers. You see, someone else, Serendy, has already said trigger fingers. See, this is the thing. I've got some news from you from JTEL. This was put up on the forum yesterday. It says that there is a fix in for increasing the world drop rate of the amp and ability tier point items by a significant number. A series of unfortunate nested loot tables caused the current rate to be about 100 times more rare than it should have been. So a fix is coming. Ta-da! So for those of you who wanted your amps, you might actually see them not be so rare anymore, or not dropping at all. Although there are some things not in loot tables yet. They have made admittance to that, and it's more dealing with the weapons. But yes, go ahead.
I have a collection of warrior amps. If you're an Ascendancy, I may still have some. I'm throwing them at the vendor because they don't sell good at the auction house, so I'm just throwing them away. Just cannot do anything. There is no warrior in my guild, so.
Well, see, that's the
or
thing.
Almost none.
We have warriors in our guild, but our quartermaster was like, no more warrior amps, like, period. So there's something where the warrior amps seem to be okay. Everyone else is suffering. Oh, man. But yes, nested looping tables, or looping nested tables. Wow. Nesting loot tables. So that's good news for everybody who is interested in their amps. That's brilliant news for people who are still looking for their ability stuff. And I want to throw something out because I love giving love to the community when they do something amazing. There is a individual known as Seaton, who is also known as the Man of Legends. At least that's what his website's about. He is taking the time currently to try to pull together what would be known as almost the ultimate guide to what do you do when you're level 50. And I'm going to put a link up here, and it's all about attunements. It's about how you go about handling different levels of gear, how you do. The guy is doing an insane amount of work, and I want to give props where props are due. So for you, Seaton, who's out there, and I'm probably butchering his name horrible. It's Seatin. Could be Satin, could be Seaton, could be Seatin, could be Seatin, could be whatever. But this is the link, and I am sharing it with all of you guys, because honestly, the resources are starting to build. A game just came out, so you're not going to have the Wikipedia available to you like Wowhead or something that's going to give you all the information. Instead, we must rely on our community to bring us amazing things. And this is being updated almost constantly with new information, and he takes suggestions. So
It's very useful to have something like that, because often when you reach max level, or at least it's how I felt, you're a bit like, okay, and now what? What can I do? In which order? It's not so obvious what you have to do and how to be the most efficient if you want to go very fast and go very fast to be raiding and stuff. There's certainly a
not that
method to
easy.
go. Yeah.
It
Yeah,
really,
but
really
you can
isn't.
take the long road or the short one. So.
Well, exactly. And the thing that I love about WildStar, and I like the choice that they've made, is that the attunement quest cannot be done overnight. It
Yeah,
can't.
indeed. So many people that were not aware that there were attunement quests, they were so happy. Oh, awesome! We'll have
It
again
was
to
one
fight.
of the biggest sellers. How could you not know?
Yeah, but some people joined WildStar quite late. Like they were not into it at all. They were not. I had a lot of friends like that. A lot of guildies. They were not convinced at all about WildStar. They were saying, "Ah, no, science fiction." They were like, "Oh, it's too cartoony," or "It's too blah blah." Then they saw us playing, having fun, sharing screenshots, and they tried it. They received the guest key, and they're, "Oh my God, it's so fun!"
See, that's the beautiful thing about it. I mean, think about this, okay? So you get a guest key, and you come into the game, and you bring your friends into the game, and they get completely obsessed with the game. You can't quite, with the guest key, get to the point where you're able to buy cred, but you couldn't get yourself to a point where you would be able to play a game using cred, which is paying in-game currency of platinum, gold, silver, and copper, to pay for game time.
Yeah, that's awesome. I tried to do that, but every time I was, yeah, I've saved enough plat. Oh no, it's 30 gold too much. So I never managed to
30
buy
gold
it.
too much. I will give you the 30 gold. I have a couple plat
No, but
right now. Here
it's
you go.
always increasing. So every time I go to dailies to have what's missing, and then, oh no, it does again rise up. Oh.
Oh, you
So
poor thing. Yes, that's the
my
thing.
fate is to give my money to Carbine. It's fine too, you know. They
Oh, I don't
deserve it.
mind. I don't mind. I will admit, I knew that my timing was going to be limited, so I'm paying quarterly.
Yeah.
So regardless of
No,
whether
but
I've logged in or not, Carbine, I am throwing my dollar bills at you, and my screen seems to be absorbing them just fine. So
no, but it's nice to give. I really don't mind to give a subscription to a company that deserve it, and they obviously deserve it. So I'm happy to give them €12 for the month. I think it's completely worth it. I don't understand people still complaining about subscriptions. They need to gain something, you know.
Well, see,
for
this is the
their
thing.
work.
You know, there's a methodology to the madness, and I'm going to do a shameless plug. Our Monday show last week did not cover. It was the week before. We covered subscriptions and MMOs, the pros and the cons of them. So if anyone really has no clue what to do in that respect, hit us up on MMOBuff.TV, and it is there for you to see.
Yeah,
Right.
that's an interesting subject.
Oh, yes. It's a very, very interesting subject. And it's great to watch me and Mizpa totally go at each other on it because we have differing opinions on things. So it's kind of like, ha 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 ha. Right. But that's just me being mean because I love fighting with Mizpa. So another big thing that has occurred this week. We had the drop hit. We had a lot of people make their way over to Blighthaven and the other location that has been modified and brought out by the drop. But someone was a little unsatisfied with this. Somebody had a little bit of a problem with the drop that came out.
I will explain it better because it's not against the drop itself. I find what Carbine is doing is very fun. It's original, etc. No, it's more at the moment when I reach in the story. You know, when you start, and I will not be revealing any spoiler, but when you play the game, you're so excited about those Eldan data cube, or at least I am. Oh, and this is the progenitor are doing this, and then the Watcher are fighting with the makers, and what's happening? And then I make up a whole conspiracy theory in my head. Nexus is not a real planet. They have made it up. It's artificial, and they have created a human for a reason. And I was all in my mystical ideas. And then at some point, I discovered that the end game is all about this corruption. And then I was like, oh, man, where is my super cool story? I didn't want it again, a story where you have corrupted land. You have that in World of Warcraft, you have that in Guild Wars 2, in the Elder Scroll Online, in Terra Online, in every game. You have this end game which is desolated, corrupted land, and you know that it will be the fight against the good and the evil. And I think that WildStar have the occasion to develop so much more original content. You have the story with the Elan, and then you have the colonization. And that's the kind of end game I really hope they will work on more, something different where you don't have to fight against the evil, but where you build something.
See, that's interesting because when we were talking a while ago, and this is where I get to pick on Gazi because Gazimov is not here. Sorry, Gazi, it's time for me to pick on you. But we had a Cosmotronic show where we were talking about the lore, and you know, there is something to be said for using tropes. Tropes being common themes that are applied. For example, you know, you've got Deadeye who is all, I've lost my missus and therefore I must have revenge on the world. You know, all of these things are blasé, same old, same old. And the way you see it, because you are an MMO fan, not everyone who's done or plays WildStar has seen the games that you have seen. But, you know, there is a trope, and that is an ancient evil. Ancient evil has come forth, and you must do something. Yeah. Is that a bad thing, really? In your opinion?
It's not a bad thing. It's just that it's been done in every game, and that's the problem.
Right. Okay. So here's where I get to pick your brains. You ready for this? Tell me some of the MMOs and the ancient evils that exist. World of Warcraft?
You have ancient evil in World of Warcraft, in all of the expansion.
Okay. Terra?
Yes, it's the, how they're called, the Archon that try to break the dream.
Okay. Star Wars?
It's not ancient, but it's Star Wars. Maybe not. I don't know. I've not spoken about that because I'm not sure about the end game. What's the focus on the end game? I never reach it, so okay. I will not speak about something.
Elder Scrolls Online or Elder Scrolls in general?
Of course. Even if I love it, it's still Molag Bal, so the King of Nightmare.
Okay, so I think
even the Secret World is the filth.
Yeah, it's still the filth.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
I love the Secret World though. Right. So we have Search King goes, what if you were new? You got to learn the tropes, you know. If you're new, does it really matter?
No, if you're new, it doesn't really matter. But I guess that you might be tired of the same theme also by watching movies or reading books, because it's kind of the same stuff in books and in movies as well. Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. You don't need to speak about MMO to speak about the fight, the very Manichaean fight against the evil and the good guys, which are not so good in the end. But yeah, well, that's another story.
Elloa apparently has opinions on tropes in general. Okay.
Yeah, well,
I will throw out, I am a massive fan of Papalicious. I love everything that he's put his hands into story-wise. There is something to be said for tropes being used repeatedly. You know, for example, some people get really frustrated with Lara Croft because she has tropes in her stories as well. You know, it's that same, why can't something be done differently? Why does the reason why something is happening always got to be insert trope here? So I pulled you on this show because you did a post, which I have shared with everybody now, and your post suggests something different, something new. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take a moment and we're going to dig into your suggestion. You're not saying, don't do this horrible trope of fighting against the strain. Don't do this. You're
No.
not saying stop that. What you're saying is, let's do something new. So, you can keep the strain stuff, you can keep all of that other stuff, but what you want to see is colonization.
Color, yes. It's the first game where you really have a good scenario for that. The settings are perfect to make the colonization team. And I think this is a team that is dear to us human because it's part of our genetic, maybe. Who do not have the instinct of wanting to colonize? And on Earth, we have messed up. It has been bloody, it has been disgusting, it has been awful. Wherever it was, we have done crap as human. But shall we do it differently, or shall we follow the same trend on our sensor? I think it will be exciting to have a game that explore this and that let us play with this and discover our explorator side that is deep inside us.
Go on.
And so
I was about to say, she has an idea.
Yes, and from a gaming point of view, the exploration could bring something very interesting and very different, and I compare it to the Anquirash gate opening in World of Warcraft in 2006, I think, or 2005.
Still sticks in my brain as one of the most interesting server type events I have ever had the pleasure of participating in, even though it took me forever and cost me a fortune in rune cloth to make rune cloth bandages.
Yeah, it was wonderful, and it's something I have always hoped to find again in a game. And it has never been redone after that. Of course, there was probably weakness in this event. Some servers were abused by some guilds, and you had some drama, but it was bringing life to the server as well. I kind of like drama in a way because you can speak about it. It's fun. But it's really to have this kind of event where everyone can participate to build something, and it takes time. It will not take 1 month to do it. It's not just a chain quest. You finish it alone or with a group, and then it's done. No, it takes the whole server effort to unlock different steps. And so with the colonization ID, which is very simple to understand, so you have the two factions that have an island or a new territory, and they want to hold it, to invest it the first. And there you really can do the same process than for the Anchorage gates with a quest hub where you have to do sort of dailies and chain quests, and then the whole server is participating, and then you unlock, if the server is really active and dynamic, then you unlock a different phase where you have new stuff that's coming up. And that's how you will progressively see your server colonize the island and become the master of it or not. You can, the idea of pull off, and I've written down, it's really the basic, but you can out of this imagine so much more stuff that can include PvP mission, world boss to kill, I don't know, there's so many possibilities. But the most interesting part is to see a progression and to have the collaboration of a whole server into building something that will be cool and fun for everyone. So it's everyone working for everyone, and I find that's pretty cool.
See, that's the thing. A lot of what I look for in WildStar is sort of that nostalgic feel I had from all the MMOs I've played in the past before they changed. So we are talking about things like EverQuest. We are talking about things like World of Warcraft. We are talking about even some of the new games that are coming out. I mean, there's something in WildStar that I think, at least for me, hits all the right spots and ticks all the right boxes. Now, they've brought back 40-man raiding. They have 40-man war plots. They have PvP. They have 2 factions. They have world bosses. They have world bosses that were created by the community. They have a whole bunch of stuff. What's to stop them from bringing something like this out? And I wonder if they may not necessarily follow your rules. They may not go, holy cow, Elloa is psychic. She knew what was coming. We need to stop and change this all. But it would not surprise me if, as the story and the content is released, if we don't start seeing really epic server-based things. I'd be shocked if we didn't see things like that, to be honest with you. Because they seem to be going back and hitting all the things that made memories so epic. I mean, do you remember the first time you took down, Storm Talon? I do.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I did him veteran. I do. I remember how painful that was. I do. I even remember Sanctuary of the Sword Maiden with that lovely bug. I mean, already I have memories being formed that I'm never going to forget. And I have to now share the Sanctuary of the Sword Maiden
yes.
story just because it's funny. Because when I did Sanctuary of the Sword Maiden veteran, there was jumping puzzles. There is this massive jumping puzzle in the middle of the entire instance, and there was a bug at the time because this was, the beta servers. There was a bug. And this bug was if your healer rezzed before anybody else did from the graveyard, everyone showed up as dead and moving. And your heal spells would not heal them because target is dead, even though they were alive. So it was a very painful thing. It was just one of those, someone dies, and I'm like, as the healer, I'm like, fine, I'll jump off the cliff so I can join you, because otherwise I wouldn't see them alive and I couldn't heal them. So you have these little tiny bits of memory already coming in.
Yeah, I agree with that. WildStar seems to offer this. I find back the feel that I had when I firstly played World of Warcraft. It feels very similar. Everyone is excited. You have so many things to discover and to do. It's in the same time familiar and all new, and it's really exciting. They've made so many fun stuff. And the fact to set up the difficulty high also, it's very important, I think. And I've been surprised. There's the WildStar core that made a poll to see if people were enjoying the difficulty or not. It's very nice article about that, nice survey. And I've been really surprised to see that most of people find the difficulty just right. They find it difficult, but they enjoy it. They are happy about it. So this is cool. It's a good sign for the game.
Oh, I completely agree. And with the concept of you having sort of a colonization event or, gates opening or a giant battlefield where people are fighting to unlock ancient Elden ruins that they have discovered, slightly like the AQ event, if you really want to get technical, whatever path they take, there is something unique to be added to this game because it's not just about the classes, it's the paths as well. So you have, indeed. Like, the warrior path will have something, explorers will have something, scientists will have something. Heck, even settlers can contribute to war efforts. So that's one of the things that I loved about what you were writing about. Because, in all honesty, ancient evils are a bit of a trope, but they're an easy trope to work with because they offer a lot of flexibility for how you want to handle future things. Give people something they're used to before you hit them in the face with something they're not used to. Make certain people can still follow a story. And not have people going around going, I know the secret, let me tell you the secret, and then ruin it for everyone who follows that person on Twitter.
Indeed.
There's a reason there are certain people I've stopped following on Twitter. It's not because I don't love you. It's because you talk too much. You share way too much information. No, but we have so many things that are available that we can do. And it just seems this is the game that could really make it happen.
Yes, and how can I say, with the housing system, the war plot system, the technical part of the game can handle this kind of stuff. They can build up so many different things from that technology that they have implemented already in their game. And so I really think it's possible. And also something I find important in this sort of event chain quest I spoke about in this article, it's the fact to include low-level players so they can enjoy and participate to it too. So you have the high level that will do their stuff, and then you can have all the lower-level player that can do like handy quest, repairing fences. Yes.
Fix the fence.
Up with the colonization, you need a little hands as well to work in the farms and to do stuff, and you can make the challenge where you have to pick up the most apple possible. You have all those quests already in the leveling part, so you can transfer that and put it in this kind of chain event where everyone can have the feel to contribute.
Absolutely. And I see now I want to add my own bit to it. I would love to see the lower level people contribute to this concept that you have here in this manner. I would like for them to have to do drills with a sergeant, sort of like the Dance Dance Revolution kind of thing that they've got built into the game, where you have to hit your key at the right moment when it's in the right color, almost like a little bit like the Simon Says in a way. And your character does these awesome little kung pao type moves, and if you screw it up, you fall flat on your butt and you get disoriented. I mean, it would be great to be teaching them through these like tiny mini puzzles, because if nothing else, it would be hysterical to watch.
This is a cool idea that you have.
It would just be amazing, because they're not going to send them out into the battlefield, not necessarily. I mean, technically you can't, just because you're level 1 doesn't mean you're like a child in this game. It's not your age is your level. But you know, if someone doesn't have the battle experience under their belt, it kind of makes sense to have them stay back. Just put them through the drills. Aww.
Yeah, but this is cool because there's so much mechanism in this game that you can use to make. I think that what I really like with WildStar is that it's a very pioneer game. They are testing stuff. So what we have now, it's like a test, and they can build up from it. They have said that in one of their stream long time ago, that as it's all new, it's a new scenario, it's a new story, it's a new game, it's a new technology, they can build up what they want according to the reaction of the people. So that's why I didn't shy away to share my ideas, because I know that devs are listening. So it's the right game where to say, I got an idea, please do it.
Well, see, they will listen. That's the thing. They will listen.
Yeah, indeed. And so, if people really want something and ask for it, it will probably happen, or it will give them ideas and inspiration to go in that direction or that other direction.
Absolutely. And this is an interesting thing, because we also have a community that doesn't immediately trash ideas that were brought. We had someone who actually asked you a question, and I'm going to bring this question to you publicly because it's interesting, and it's not from a chat, it's from the post itself. The idea that you have actually works well because there are two factions, because we have the exiles and we have the dominions. However, just because a story or intellectual property of story has those two factions, it doesn't mean that every server is balanced. So it can be incredibly frustrating if you have, for example, someone said, you know, we have a 3-to-1 ratio here on this server, which makes things a little difficult. So if you reward a larger portion of player who is able to, say, successfully accomplish some of the tasks that may be part of this colonization design, you are actually going to make it very unfair. And you made an interesting response to this, so go ahead and hit that.
I don't remember my answer. No, damn, I should have read the thread again. So the thing is that first the reward is kind of cosmetic, I find. Well, what I have established, but this is something that can be changed, because I put up an idea. It needs to be tested. It needs to be you know, made by professionals, so they need to analyze and really see the differences. I really don't remember what I've said. Now I feel stupid.
My intent was not to make you feel stupid in any way, shape, or form.
I will just fastly read to remember what.
While she's doing that, I'm going to take this moment to say, by the way, guys, thank you so much for being around for the Cosmotronic. If you have ideas or things, and she goes,
It's just what I say, basically. It's mostly cosmetic rewards. So
the idea that you have is mostly cosmetic rewards, yes.
Yeah. So there's, of course, the entrance. Well, I say that the last things, the goal is to unlock the red. Okay, the red at the top of the and wherever you want it to be. And of course, the winner will have a little advantage by having a camp next to the entrance, and the other will have to run. Well, it's not really a big deal, but that's also not something that you really need to do. You can find different stuff. But what's really cool is to be able to brag about your faction, to say, hey guys, you see, we have put the flag on the top of the mountain and you not, you suck. I know, even if it's not balanced, some people might whine about it, but it can also create something where people are invested into it, or they want, hey guys, let's go, let's do all dailies. They will motivate themselves, while the exile, for instance, if they are too numerous, they will take it easy. And you might see something, see the Dominion advance faster. And you can also have people, hey, go on our server because our server is cool and we are advancing that much in this quest. It's also a way to brag a little bit about your server. I think it's something very important, and that all MMO have lost. Some because they don't really have server anymore, and some because you have that in World of Warcraft. After the introduction of the Dungeon Finder, the best invention in the history of MMO, right?
Sarcasm. It suits you so well, Elloa. It really does.
You have lost this feeling of server, and you have lost the fact that people were happy because they were on that server, not on that one. And so I find it important to re-educate people, or re-show them that they can form communities, they can bond into a server, they need to speak to each other. For instance, I have, the forum, the server forum, it's only guild recruitment thread. So I try it on my server to say, introduce yourself. It's good somewhere.
That's not how my servers forums are, but then again, I also did sort of like what you did. I came up and I said, hey, my guild's saying hi to everybody. How is everyone? Yeah. What you up to? Who's doing what? We've also started a official guild recruitment thread for people who are doing recruitment, and we also started a thread for official server firsts, as well as boss kills and things like that. But then again, my guild's a little proactive like that.
Yes, that's the way to go. I wanted to do that then and say, do I really want to take the responsibility of doing this? Maybe not. But if no one is taking the ID, I will have to.
Absolutely. I mean, there should be something beyond just simply we're looking for a few extra good men and women to come into Nexus and fight with us. Having a sense of community, having a sense of your server is so important. It really is. So
this is something that has been lost, and I think that now people could do it because WildStar allow it, but people need to remember how to do, or they need to have a reason
or be taught that it's okay.
Yeah.
The amount of people. What I love about WildStar is if you go to do a pug, if you don't talk to the people, you will fail. You have to communicate in order to be successful in a pug. You really, really do. Because no one person can make a dungeon successful. It takes a team.
And this is what's very nice with a high difficulty, because when people are facing a difficulty, a wall of some kind, they need to find a way to be able to deal with it. And World of Warcraft, as always, sorry to criticize this game a bit too much, but it still needs to be said. World of Warcraft always has, okay, it's too difficult for you, we will make it easier for you. We will make it more comfortable. We will make it more accessible. And they have always adapted to the player in that sense. And so the players do not have any reason to fight. They do not have any reason to organize themselves to overcome the difficulty. Here in WildStar, pegging is not so fun. It's hard. It's not rewarding and not very efficient. So people will have to find ways to overcome these difficulties. Either they will remake guild or circle of making friend list again, or they will learn to communicate again with the people inside the pack, or they will, I don't know, they will need to find a way. If you make everything too easy or too comfortable, people are just being lazy, because that's our nature. If there's a nice coach, I will sit in it and I will do nothing. But
Well, human nature has us taking the path of least resistance to as much as possible. But as we've said, because we are definitely coming down to the end of the show, as we've said, one of the things we can look forward to, at least with WildStar and Carbine, is the way they've decided to handle the complaints of things being too difficult. A new dungeon is coming out at level 10 that's supposed to help people learn how to actual dungeon in WildStar, which is fantastic. They didn't say, oh, we're going to nerf Storm Talon's Lair and make it easier. We're going to nerf Kelvarath and make it easier. No, instead, they've brought in a new dungeon that says, we're going to teach you here, and we'll make a veteran version of it just so that you can show you're badass. Because hardcore. So yes, great. Allow me to say, for those of you who are watching, and I'm going to give you a question to think about while I go through the little spiel that I'm going to go through, and then I will come back to you for your answer, and then we'll say bye-byes to people. You ready for this?
yes, sure.
I want to know your number one favorite thing of WildStar. If you had to make a list, what would sit right at the top for WildStar? Now think about that. Don't reveal it just yet, but think.
Okay.
And I will say to all of you who have joined us here on Cosmotronic, thank you so much for showing up. Remember, if you have ideas or things that you want to see us tackle, do get in touch with us, please. Voice at MMOBuff.TV. Do be aware that there is a lot of shows that we have here. Normally, Kai Dream, Gazimov, and Mizpa are with me for Cosmotronic, but unfortunately, they could not be here today due to a variety of reasons, from Lops performing science, which is not always a good thing because they open up someone's body and go shiny. That's just crazy. Granok parties, and the strain, because just the strain is so difficult. Now, for those of you who are really interested in TCGs, tomorrow's show at 8 p.m. UK time is called The Top Draw. It has Dr. Marshmallows and I digging into the barrier to entry for a game called Infinity Wars. We have codes to give away that give people free stuff as well. So if you're interested in TCGs, Saturday is the time to be there. Monday, Mizpa and I are going to be digging into all kinds of things involving MMOs, including things like, why do you do data mining in a game or not? That might be coming up soon. If you have a particular topic about MMOs you want us to really dig into or to fight about, because Ms. and I love to argue, by all means, please get in touch, and we will see if we can't get our hands on people to debate with us. Tuesday, the campfire is back, and this time we have a guest. I believe the guest is from the Guild Oblivion, but I can't remember because Screen only told me today, and I'm like, So Blank Space, Screenager, and myself will be on with a guest on Tuesday's campfire. Wednesday, we have the Blizzard forecast back with Parvis, Blank Space, Hearth, Trollden, and Mizpa, as they talk all things Blizzard. And then Thursday, the only show we don't have at 8 p.m. UK time, it's at 1 p.m. UK time. It is a show all about game development from independent game developers. It's basically group therapy for independent game developers. And we talk about everything from engines to how you bring art assets into a game to how you actually do the development cycle. We've talked about character parkour, how you teach a character to actually grip and then climb up, how you do the checks, how you do the balances. If you are someone who's getting really interested in getting into game development, Thursday's show called The Data Mine is right up your alley. And in fact, this next week coming up, I'm trying to make certain I can get a couple of particular people on, but we have guests. The two of our hosts are independent developers, one whose game is going live on Steam for purchase very shortly, one who is still in the development phase and is still looking for a 3D graphic artist, and myself, who has game making and game playing in my history, oddly enough. And we dig into so much. So if you're interested in that, do that. Friday's show, remember, is the Cosmotronic next week. Who knows what will happen on that show? Who knows? It could be anything. Kai Dream could come back, and then, Gazimov could come back, but Mizpa could be missing, in which case, we'll have to come up with yet another excuse for why these various hosts are not all on together at the same time. Darn you, Strain. Darn you. Because we almost had the pure female cast of awesomeness. We almost had Yumi and Kai Dream all together.
Yeah, this would have been sweet.
It would have been awesome. Because it would have been a show just us women talking WildStar in geek ways. Yes. But it didn't happen. So, what is your answer to my question? Your number one favorite thing about the WildStar?
It's dungeons.
Dungeons.
I hesitate a bit with housing, but still dungeons. I love them. I love to, well, dungeons and adventure, it's a bit the same thing. Um, I like that in every game. It's my favorite part. I like to play my character, to have a challenge and to overcome it. And as I'm mostly playing healers, like 90% of time, of course, it's my favorite activities where I can shine. So, yeah, it's definitely dungeon. Especially the Sword Maiden one. I love it.
Of course you
the
do.
jumping part.
Oh no, you love
No,
the
but it's
jumping
true.
puzzle.
I don't love the jumping puzzle,
Yes,
but
you
I really
do.
like the atmosphere of the Sword Maidens. I really like this lore, the story, the music, the landscape, the
Jeff
scenery,
Kurtnacker is a
and the
god.
boss fight are super cool in this dungeon.
Absolutely. So I will get behind that one. We have someone in chat. The Ramaj, who says number one obviously is hoverboard double jumping. That's their favorite.
Yes.
Duido has pointed out something that is well worth keeping in mind. Don't forget that WoW is a 10-year-old successful game. After the years, you need to make certain choices to keep the most famous MMO working. Getting stuff easy in WoW is, in his opinion, or her opinion, not certain, something 90% of people whine about for stupid reasons. Why I say this? Because 40% of players have seen the hardcore endgame in WoW. Interesting. Then it goes to add, if it's too easy and making it too easy for players, everyone would have done hardcore endgame. Very true. You should really watch our Monday show. I think you would really like that with that particular type of comment. Avid Guru goes, their favorite thing is the music. Hands down, Jeff Kurtnacker is fantastically talented. I call him a god of music. Only because I was listening to your video, which is part of your little thing, and the Elden music came on right as you started talking about the story of the Elden. I'm like, you hear that, and if you play WildStar, your brain just goes, ka-ching, she's talking Elden. It just all fits so perfectly. So, it's just one of those amazing things. And Coleman points out that if a game hadn't been made easier, it would have died a long time ago. I'm going to be really curious to see what it is that Carbine has put into place to protect themselves in the future. Because after a game has been out for a couple of years, what do you do? How do you accept new players into that content without degrading the options that other people have done, without making what everyone else has done seem like a worthless waste of time? Now, I take my hat off. Jeremy Gaffney is an incredibly astute individual who is the executive producer at Carbine for this game. And honestly, I would be shocked if they didn't have something in the plans to solve that, which is why they make the choices to bring out the things that they're bringing out. Because in the end, if you don't know what the end game is going to curtail, you might bring out something in the future that could impact that and make that future bleak. So I think I'll be curious to see how they handle that one.
But I'm confident they will find a nice idea. You see how they handle the situation, the whining of the people that make the game too easy. That's kind of attitude. I think they will always find the right answer to the problem.
Well, that's the hope. There's always going to be those moments where they do something that doesn't quite work right. But if all companies out there, I have full faith these guys would say, my bad, not the best decision we could have made. We're going to try and do something different. And they'll explain their reasonings why. But because of the way that they try to do testing and stuff, my hope is that they solve that before we go there. So next one up, next comment is Mizpah or Riot. Oh, poor Akasm. Sorry, Mizpah's not here today. However, I will let him know that you were seriously planning on rioting if you didn't show up on Monday's show. There you go. Triple T says hi to you.
Hello, Triple T.
Avid Guru says housing is good too.
Follow the chat.
Avid Guru says housing is their favorite thing. Community is amazingly creative. Understatement. I had someone walk into my housing or into my my little housing plot, stop and go, "Who blew up?" And I just keep dropping stuff and making it as big as possible. I don't care where I put it. And it's just like, just drop it. My house looks like a dark junkyard with glowy plants. It's so funny. And that's just the outside. The inside just has a giant lop with books, or a giant, WildStar with books, but What
Yes,
can
it's
you say?
amazing what you can do. It's really really cool to explore the. We have done some evening like that with my guild where we explore the house of everyone and everyone make a visit tour. And it's really cool to see where what people can come up and all the atmosphere. We have a medic. He has made such a creepy place. You don't want to get cured by him.
Oh, does he
It's
have strain
awesome.
everywhere?
No, we have graveyard and it's very dark and it's dirty. It's like Frankenstein house.
That's brilliant. Oh, that is absolutely amazing. Um, let's see. Bomb Churu says, I love how hard and relentless it is. It brings me back to the times of vanilla WoW when I felt rewarded for completing a dungeon. Makes the game feel amazing. I shake my head when I wipe. However, it makes me giddy to beat the last boss in a dungeon and get the loot. Yeah, you know that
Yeah.
hard feeling. I have to ask you, Bomb Chura, have you done veterans yet? Because if you've done veterans, I would be really curious to see if you still have that feeling, because there is something about it. And my character is max on live server, but when we were doing betas, I was able to get 50 and play in the veteran dungeons, and my brain exploded. My brain exploded. And when we finally took down a veteran boss, it was like, yes, it was so much better than like the feeling of the last time I took down a raid boss in another game. Because
Yeah,
my
that's what I'm
brain,
saying.
the adrenaline was going, my heart was beating, my hands were shaky. I had to wipe my hands on my pants because they were sweaty from holding my mouse, from trying to be directionally challenging. And it was just, I have to say, it was game-gasmic. It was a simple game-gasmic because it was so amazing. All of that hard work, all of that difficult timing, and even though it was bugged, we still succeeded. And it was just like amazing.
That's what I'm saying. Dungeon or like 5-man raid, you can treat them as that. And when I see some people in some guild, we are going to raid as fast as possible, unless you're hardcore like Millennium and I don't know, Eugenic, whatever. Those big
There's a
hardcore
couple
guilds.
of hardcore guilds all over the
Yeah.
place.
Well, so those people are professional gamer, let's say it that way. But for the other people, it's pointless to try to go to red super fast. First, take the dungeon, like the first step. That's what we are doing with my guild. We are treating dungeons, veteran, like 5-man raids. So we take it seriously. Like we will prepare, we will read the guide, we will do it, we will learn, we will accept to wipe, we will accept to have a progression in that instance to do this first boss this night, and we will fail, but we will come back and we will maybe get on progress on the second boss. And if you take it like that, you're not raging because it's too hard or because your group is not good enough or whatever.
See, that's the thing. And here's what we're going to do, folks. Because we have so many people chatting with us, I'm going to draw a little line in the chat. Line in the chat. Actually, can you type a little line into the chat for me, my dear?
Yeah,
just
sure.
a little line in the chat.
Tell me.
Okay.
Whatever.
Press enter.
Okay.
Press enter.
I'm ready.
So it shows up on the chat on Twitch, which I'm waiting for it to show up on because I don't see your little line on chat. But Twitch chat is being awkward for me.
Oh, you want me to write whatever? Okay.
No, I just wanted you to just write a little line. Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were. I was ready to listen to you. You were telling me something.
Yeah, I was going to say, have you do that, because what we're going to do is we are going to be taking a moment. And we're going to close out what is going to go up on YouTube, but we're going to come back and we're going to talk with everybody and continue to share things and stuff like that. However, it's the post show where we put our hair down and we don't really follow typical chat subject matter because it's a matter of whatever the heck you guys want to ask us, what you want to talk about, if you want to know our opinions about WildStar, etc. So take a moment for me, Elloa, say toodle pip and bye-byes and all that stuff for the people who are on YouTube.
Okay, goodbye everyone. Thank you a lot to have watched this show. I hope you enjoyed it and see you on Nexus.
And on that note, I also say toodle pip. See you guys very soon. Time for the post show. If the post show will actually work. Probably will. It will. It won't.
Okay.
Hi, we're back. It's the post show.
Yay!
Yay for the post show. We can put our hair down. We can stretch. I can try and get chat working again because chat has stopped working for me on Twitch, which is really, really frustrating. Really, really frustrating. So if someone says something, you are going to have to tell me what they are saying. Ding.
Okay.
Ding.
That's true. Say a mic with a lot of flour. Yay! My boyfriend is a little bit impatient to get back his headset.
Okay, we'll be very quick. It's just a quick chance. So if anyone has anything they want to ask, just read out whatever questions anyone has. We'll be really quick. We'll answer 2, maybe 1 or 2. There you go. Pick one. You get to pick something that someone has said, and we can go with that.
Okay, but I'm trying to find. Well, at the moment there's no question in the chat, but we can speak about what Helm Blizzard have said earlier.
Ooh.
Taking down a veteran boss is awesome until you realize you need to run it again and again to get silver for attunement. Well, I don't know if it annoys me so much. Well, I've not done veteran dungeon yet, so I will not speak about something I don't know, but I enjoy so much dungeon in general that I don't mind to redo them. You can always take them differently, especially in a game like WildStar, or like the new game in general, WildStar, the Elder Scrolls Online, and that kind of game where you can change your builds, you can mix up things, you can change your builds at every boss. It's interesting to see how to become the most efficient and stuff. I like this kind of activity, and I don't mind the repetition of it. It's never bored me. But that's just me. I can understand that some people don't like to do it. They like to do 3 times the dungeon and then be done with it. But then, what do you like to do after that?
That's kind of where I sit with it as well. I like the challenge. I want a challenge. But in my case, the challenge will come after I've gotten full attunement and I'm sitting in a 20 or a 40-man raid with rest of my guild, and I get to listen to the screams of, yes, that boss is down. I'll be like, woo, 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 and then I'll put on my little cheerleading outfit, which is great, and I'll dandy. In fact, I've got chompy combers for my pom-poms, and I just start to wave them around because I'm so proud of everybody who has done amazing things, because I'll be listening to that because they're going to raid before I'll get a chance to. So, yay, you guys go. Me and myself still leveling, but yay, you guys go. I can still support and whack my mic in the process. I can still support you guys. Yay. So yeah. There you go. But yes. So on that note, it leaves me to say to all of you guys, thank you guys so much. Elloa, thank you so much, my dear, for coming on and being amazing.
Oh, it was so fun. I really like to come. I'm very happy to participate in this show.
We'll probably have you back at some point in time, because now that you've been on the Cosmotronic and the campfire, you never know. You never know what might happen to you.
And Vina
Special
is
awards,
asking you
as
to
Gwen
show.
points out. Go ahead.
And Vina asked you to show your cheerleader outfit. Do you
My
have that
cheerleader.
costume?
Well, unfortunately, all I'm wearing today is my WildStar t-shirt.
Oh, nice. I'm so jealous. I want one too.
Wait, what did Gwen say?
Cheerleader outfit is only for me.
Apparently, my cheerleader outfit is only for Gwen's.
Oh, okay.
But there you go. So on that note, darling, hearts to you, hearts to everybody. Unfortunately, chat is not working for me, so I'm not able to say a big hello and thank you to every single one of you who is here, those who agree with us and those who don't. You guys make life interesting, you make life fun, and Elloa, as always, an absolute treat to have you around, my dear.
Thank you very much for having visited me. It was super fun. And thank you everyone who have watched. I wish you a very, very good night.
Yes, have a great weekend, everyone. And for those of you who are the TCG fans, I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.